Hey everybody, I'm Chad Taylor with the Vegas Podcast, and if you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you click it below, click the like button, and stay around for this one because you're going to like it. Today I have with me Shane Huish from Cowabunga Bay, and if you don't know Cowabunga Bay, then you're living under a rock. Shane, introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Shane Huish. I'm the owner of the two Cowabunga parks here in Vegas now, Cowabunga Bay in Henderson and Cowabunga Canyon in Summerlin.
Shane, we met quite a few years ago,
Yeah,
and you're one of my favorite people.
you as well. That's why we're here together still, right?
Yes, absolutely. So you're here on the Vegas Podcast because I want to talk about all the amazing things that you've done and that you currently do for Las Vegas, for this community and other communities from what I know.
Yes.
But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about Shane. I want to know, where is Shane from? Where did Shane grow up?
Well, I grew up in Southern California in a little town called La Mesa. It's a suburb of San Diego.
Yes, I lived in El Cajon, and Mira Mesa is close to there as well.
Okay, well, we lived in La Mesa, El Cajon, and then back to La Mesa.
And I went to high school in Tierra Santa.
Okay.
Wow. All right. Now we're connected there already.
Yeah.
All right, so you grew up in Southern California.
Yes.
How long, where did you head after Southern California?
Oh, gosh. Well, I was in San Diego till I went to college, and then I moved up to Provo and went to Brigham Young University for, I think, 4 or 5 years.
Okay. So 4 years at least, which means you probably graduated.
I did graduate from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What did you go for?
I wanted to be in architecture and design, so I did a design with an emphasis on architecture.
Really?
Yeah.
That would explain a lot more about you as we get into it.
Yeah.
All right. So San Diego, Utah for college. Have you lived anywhere else?
Oh, yes. I lived in Houston for a while. I lived in North Carolina for a while. I lived in Oklahoma City for a while, Seattle, Palm Springs,
Ooh.
Seoul, Korea.
Seoul, Korea. Oh,
Yeah.
you traveled around a little bit.
Yeah.
How was Korea?
At the time, it was a little underdeveloped. I've been back since then, and it's an amazing city now. And what's great is I speak the language, so I can really get around well there.
How many languages do you speak?
I speak English, Korean, and I can sometimes do Pig Latin still. I think so. Saibo. See, not good there. I need to keep up on that.
That's awesome. All right, so West Coast and all over, and you are currently in Las Vegas. How long have you been in Las Vegas now?
Since 2012, I've been here.
2012.
Yeah.
And what brought you to Las Vegas?
Oh my gosh, that's a long story, but we'll cut to the chase here. I was living up in Salt Lake City where we owned a small water park there, our original water park called Cowabunga Bay. And some gentlemen were walking through our park, snooping around, and I got very cautious about that. And I went over and talked to them, and I said, "Hey guys, what's going on?" They were really nice, and they were really impressed with our park up there. And they said, "Hey, would you guys be interested in doing a partnership in a water park?" Well, the park in Utah was great, but the weather was sketchy. And I said, "I will never do another water park unless it's in Las Vegas." And bam, they had the project.
Okay.
So that is what brought me down here. And originally I was supposed to be down here for 2 years just for the construction of it, but things never work out as planned, and I've been here since then.
It's because you love Las Vegas, don't you?
Yeah, I do love it. Yes. As a kid, we would travel from San Diego up to Provo, and I hated those trips. But the greatest thing was we would stop in Vegas for 2 or 3 nights, and I just loved it as a kid.
Right. So you, San Diego to Utah, water park, went to school for architectural design. Yeah. So you're the architect of Cowabunga Bay in some fashion?
I am.
Really?
I have designed it from the ground up. I own it and operate it and designed it.
And you do it very well. And you achieve something that not a lot of water parks can achieve, and we can probably get into it just a little bit, but you have something at your water park that most people didn't get. I think Disney got it, but you also have it too?
Dole Pineapple Whip. That was a tough one for us to get, but yeah, we were one of the first water parks, or one of the first parks outside of Disney to get Dole. Since then, it's everywhere now, but
right,
we were one of the first.
I remember that. So the first time we met was quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
When did you arrive? What year? 2015?
2012. I
2012.
moved here. The park opened in 2014.
Yep.
And we met, I think it was 2016.
2015 or 16.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 2016, we threw a big party there and we met. And I'm going to show a picture on this podcast of me. Do you still have that picture of me jumping in the air in front of everybody? Have you seen that one?
I've seen it, yeah. I
So I'm
got to
gonna
tell
show
you,
it.
I think that was the best party we've ever had at the park.
Okay.
It was.
Humbled.
You came in with all these crazy ideas, and I'm thinking, oh, yeah, right. They'll never do that. And wow, you did it. It was blown away by that party.
And you let me surf in your pool.
We let you surf in the pool. We let Tony ride with his dog down the water slides. We did a lot of things that day.
We did a lot of things that you shouldn't do. So, and we appreciate you for that. It was one of the best parties. You know,
Yeah.
that was my last party was Zappos too. At that party, we had turned it over. I don't know if you saw Audrey Hooper, but she owns Till Death Do Us Party.
Yeah.
So we did an episode with her here a few back, and she's in the event planning business. So that was the last event we did before handing it over to Audrey. Joey and I had done it for almost 10 years.
Those were the best parties. We always loved the Zappos parties.
They were a blast.
Yeah.
They were a blast. So you designed and developed one of the coolest water parks in this city, and you did it out in Henderson.
Yeah.
So we used to have a water park on Lasvegasstrip that everybody local would remember, which was called
Wet and Wild.
Wet and Wild. And Wet and Wild eventually was replaced.
Well, it was torn down and it's now a vacant lot. And I actually live in Turnberry Towers and I look right down on that vacant lot.
You
so
do.
Every day I'm reminded of it.
Every day, are you thinking about reopening it?
No, I have 2 water parks now. That's enough.
Okay, great. So you chose to build a project out in Henderson, and there was not another water park here at that time, correct?
At the time, there were no water parks, and we were very excited about the Henderson Park. And I'd heard rumblings of there was another park on the west side, but
Right.
it had fallen through, and I heard the project was dead. So we bought the land and moved forward with the Henderson Park.
Right.
And then out of the blue, I heard this announcement, oh, Wet and Wild is coming back. And I thought, oh my God, how am I going to compete with that Wet and Wild name?
Right.
And they opened a year before us, and we opened the year after, and we did a great business because we're a good operator. So
Yeah. Yeah. And there's enough people in Las Vegas, right? That
yeah, this is a
supports
great
2
market.
water parks.
This is the great market. We've got great weather. We've got no competition. We've got, what,
Right.
2 million people in this valley?
Well, yeah, you have me. I mean, I have Lake Mead, but I don't have any slides yet.
Oh, yeah, we do compete with the lake.
But I'm with you there. I get that. No, you guys offered something to the community that it really needed. Las Vegas
Yeah.
needed water parks. Wet and Wild going away was a huge disappointment to a lot of people.
Oh,
that were
I
here.
hear it all the time. That place made memories for kids or adults now, but it was part of their childhood. And so
Yeah.
we hear it all the time about the old Wet and Wild.
Yeah. All right. So Wet and Wild's out. Cowabunga Bay's in. The new Wet and Wild opens up. We got 2 fantastic parks in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Your park especially was unique and different with the wave pool. And tell me about some of the amenities at Wet and Wild. Like, so if someone's never listened to this before, talk to me a little bit about Wet and Wild and what the dream and the passion and why and how. Just
You
Go.
mean Cowabunga Bay?
it's Cowabunga Bay.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Wet and Wild. See,
Wet and
everybody
Wild.
in Vegas has Wet and Wild on their mind.
Let me ask you a question though. Who owns that now?
I own both of them.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so it's not still called Wet and Wild.
No,
though.
we changed the name.
changed
we
the name.
rebranded it and fixed it up, and it's a beautiful park now. It's now called Cowabunga Canyon.
Cowabunga Canyon.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so Cowabunga Bay and Cowabunga Canyon.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about Cowabunga Bay. Like, give me why you built it, why you did what you did, some of the pieces that you put in. What do people not know about Cowabunga Bay?
Oh gosh, the great thing is Cowabunga Bay is now an institution here in the park, and especially now that we have Cowabunga Canyon. So I'm starting to hear now memories of kids that are saying, "Oh, we want to go to Cowabunga Bay this summer," and it's not Wet and Wild anymore. These
Right.
kids are growing up on Cowabunga Bay. Our
True.
park is really unique because it's themed and it's an experience. So a lot of water parks are just slides and pools and brick
Right.
buildings where you take a shower. But I wanted to have an experience. So we took a fun theme. Cowabunga is, the 60s and surfing and the West Coast beaches. And so it's all themed like that. And so all of our names are named after Zuma Beach or surfing terms and stuff like that. So it's well themed, I think.
Because you were a Southern California kid.
Well, because I'm an architect and a design major, and
Okay.
my career, I worked for Paramount Parks, I worked for Six Flags, I worked for a lot of theme park companies, so I got a lot of experience doing that.
You have a theme park background.
Oh, yes.
Do you know Jeff Victor?
No, I don't.
Jeff Victor is the one who ultimately built the zip line on Fremont Street.
Oh,
So
no, I
Ian
don't.
and Rex, the Greenheart crew, came through and built the zip line out of scaffolding on the Fremont Street. I did up the original plans for it and drew them up for the pitch for Oscar and the rest of them down there. And he also had a theme park background, and he built the Slotzilla. So that makes sense. If you come from a theme park background, you know how to build some of these amazing theme parks.
Yeah. It's
Very
interesting.
nice.
I lived in the Ogden while they were doing that whole project, so I watch it go up and the scaffolding come down and then go up in the big steel building.
Yeah, that was good time. That was good times. Okay, so tell me how it goes from Cowabunga to Cowabunga Bay to Cowabunga Canyon. When did that happen?
I got to tell you, Wet and Wild was a thorn in my side for many, many years. I mean, I'm glad they were on the other side of town, so we really weren't competing, but we were competing. And Wet and Wild, the new Wet and Wild, was a little more corporate based, whereas Cowabunga Bay was run by me personally every day. And so we had a good, strong competition for many, many years. And then COVID hit. And I think they really suffered during COVID, and they weren't making it meet. And so I put a call out to the owner, and I said, hey, let's make something happen. So we actually merged Cowabunga Bay with one of the owners of of Wet and Wild.
Okay.
And so we were very strong during COVID, and they were a little weak, so they were willing to do it. And then we took it over, fixed it up, rebranded it,
Put your power and passion behind it.
got all
your
the rides working
creativity.
again, and improved the food, repainted it, new signage, and it's doing really well now.
Well done. Okay, perfect. So you have the two ultimate water parks here in town. And how many water slides, when I say water slides, do you call them attractions? How many attractions do you have per park?
So each park has about 22 to 25 attractions. Both of them have the major attractions like a wave pool, lazy river. We have kids areas, but then each one has like a unique signature attraction. We have the Texas Tornado over at Cowabunga Canyon.
Yeah.
And then we have the Wild Surf over at Cowabunga Bay. Those are both huge slides that 4 people can ride together, and they're quite thrilling.
All right. And how many acres do these parks take up? How big are they?
So Cowabunga Bay in Henderson is 24 acres, and the park is about 14 acres, and then the rest is for parking and expansion. Cowabunga Canyon is a little bit smaller, and it's included in part of the park over there.
Okay.
It's inside the park is about 12 and a half acres, so it's a little bit smaller, but it's actually have a few more slides over there. Cowabunga Bay has a much bigger wave pool and a bigger lazy river.
Got it.
So they're different that way.
Okay. So for those who are locals to Las Vegas, we've heard of Cowabunga Bay, and most of us been there and take our kids there and enjoy the heck out of it ourselves. It's for youth, but it's also for adults. You have a lot of night stuff that you do.
Yeah.
You have some neon parties. Tell me a little bit about some of this stuff.
So we've really started doing some signature events because it really helps, enhance the experience, I say.
Yeah.
Our adult swims we do at each park, and that is for 21 over, and we do them about 3 or 4 times a year. They go from 8 till about midnight. And it's a good time. We've got alcohol flowing. We've got DJs. We have a lot of glowy actors and stuff like that. So it's done really well for us.
Do you still rent out the park to companies and corporate events?
All the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And I think we're actually even doing Zappos again next year.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I wonder who's planning it. I'll have to ask Audrey if she's part of that.
It's not like it used to be, though.
No.
But I'm still glad they're coming back.
No, that's fantastic. So you will work with companies still on the Las Vegas Strip, corporate events, those type of things.
I love those things, because we get to do such fun and unique things, and we're doing fun food experiences, and sometimes it'll be a private event, but it'll be sort of intimate. So on a normal day, we can have anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 people in the park, but it's 1,000 or so, and it's just really fun.
I was just going to ask you that. How many people can you fit in the water park on any given day?
As many as I can squish in.
Right?
No, we have a capacity, and our busiest times we'll do about 5,000 to 6,000 at both parks.
On a flow
Each.
throughout the day?
Yes, constant. So
Okay.
it gets pretty crowded when there's 4,000 people in there, but like I say, there's a turnover constantly.
Okay. What would you say the percentage of your business is from you're in Vegas, from tourists to locals?
Oh gosh, we are so local, and we really just focus on the local
Okay.
market. So we came in here knowing that I can't compete with the Strip and the pools they do there. And when people come to the Strip, they don't want to go to a water park. So we strictly focus on Vegas, the people that live here, their families. We go into St. George and we go down to Barstow, but mostly it's the Las Vegas residents that we're entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So you mentioned St. George and Barstow. Do you have other parks too?
We do. I have, it's me and my two brothers
Okay.
own all these things. We have a water park up in Draper. We have a family entertainment center in Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, and we are building one down in Ontario, California right now.
All over the place. Okay, so then let me ask, how did you get into this amusement style business? Based on what you've told me so far, you're obviously very good at it. You're very creative. How did you get into the amusement business?
Well, I was pretty lucky. My father built and ran miniature golf courses in Southern California. And so that was his business. So I grew up sort of in a small park. At that time, Pac-Man had just hit. So he started putting video games into his miniature golf courses, and it took off. And so he started adding more attractions. And
Yeah.
he would get an idea, and then we would have to go on road trips to see how it worked. There was one time he wanted to put in roller skating rinks. So we went to about 10 roller skating rinks. And then there was a time he wanted to put in bumper boats. And there was a new park up in LA called Magic Mountain that had just opened bumper boats. So he took us up there. And oh my gosh, I fell in love with Magic Mountain. I was obsessed with it.
Got
And
it.
I knew that's what I wanted to do when I grew up. So I focused everything I did on designing and something in the amusement industry. And my lucky break came when I got a job with Paramount. They were a chain of theme parks on the East Coast. And I got a job as a creative director. And at the time, they were adding water parks to each one of their theme parks. And that became my project.
Got
and so
it.
I built a water park in Charlotte, North Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, Toronto, Canada. And then Six Flags took note and they said, hey, come work for us.
Right.
So I moved to Oklahoma City, worked for Six Flags, started doing all their water parks. And I thought, God, I can do this for myself. So that's when my brother and I found a small piece of land up in Draper, Utah, and
Yeah.
we built a small water park. That one's only 2.5 acres up there, but it got us started, and it did really well. And then the opportunity for Vegas came, and we came down and built that. And then the opportunity for Wet and Wild came, and we bought that, and here I am today.
That's a great.
Fulfilled all my dreams.
I was going to say that's a great story.
Yeah.
Listen, I work with the youth in Clark County School District. You know that.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how many people will sit here across that I get the opportunity to interview or talk to that tell me that some childhood experience of theirs is what turned into what they do for a living
Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form. And I find that important. I find it beautiful. And I find it as the perfect reason for us to continue to offer these experiences to our younger generation as much as possible. Because if they don't get out and experience the outdoors, nature, these adventure centers, they would never know it existed. And then how would they have an idea that that's what they wanted to do?
Yeah.
Not in the classroom.
I knew what I wanted to do from 11 years old, and I was focused on it. And I've been to over probably 300 theme parks around the world. I've ridden over 1,200 roller coasters, and I just knew what I wanted to do, and I went for it. And it's truly amazing that I achieved it, and I'm proud and just thrilled that I did it.
Man, I'm blown away. So there was
Like, I never wanted to be a dentist or a pilot or
Yeah.
anything. It was just like, I want to design and own. I wanted to do theme parks. Now, that's a big investment, so I'm happy with my water parks.
Yeah, and like Michael Prenti said, he said, I wanted to be a casino exec. I love Vegas, and I watched casino as a young man, and I just always wanted to be a casino exec. And here I am, I'm a casino exec. So you see something, you learn something, and you do it. I have to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. You guys, no.
Don't grow up.
Now now I'm missing out. So, okay. Well, many questions I would ask you, like what landed you at this company, but it's your company. So, you created it. I mean, manifest destiny. You created it, made it yours. What would you say, what does the future look like for you? Now that you've built these amazing projects, Las Vegas as a community gets to enjoy it. Tell me, like, what does the future look like for you? And anything you can't say, you don't have to, but I'd be curious.
I'm going to be 59 this year. I've been running Cowabunga Bay for 10 years, and that's a tough job. I mean, I'm out on the park every summer, all
you
day
actually
long,
run it. I watch
117 degrees, and when it gets busy, I'll be back flipping burgers or running a cash register, even sometimes sitting on the lifeguard stand. It's rough. I'm ready to kind of let others manage it, and I'm going to manage from above, especially with the 2 parks now, because you know, we employ over 1,000 teenagers, and we have to hire them every year and train them every year because it's seasonal, and that's a lot. So it takes a lot of work. Like I say, we're building a park down in California right now. And I think the Cowabunga parks will always continue to grow. We had some really good plans for Henderson, and then COVID hit, which was a real bummer. And it was tough to get through COVID. So a lot of the funds we'd saved up to build new attractions had to keep us operating. But we're building back up, and there'll be some exciting things coming to both parks in the next year or two.
Okay. So you said something, and I kind of giggled, but you say you have to employ and train 1,000 teenagers you're like the ultimate parent. You're like the ultimate mentor. You have to do it over and over again every year with a new group of the same age.
We get a lot of them that come back, which is nice. And they'll work for us for 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And then they'll go to college. But you know, that has kept me young because, like, you know, I work on the floor, so I get to know each one of these kids. And I'll be going through the airport or at a restaurant, and people will say, Shane, and I'll look around, and I recognize the face. I don't ever remember where they were because there's thousands of them. But I don't know. That's really a cool part of my job, is working with the kids. And you know what is so interesting? It's such a part of their youth. I mean, working at Cowabunga Bay is what they do for 2 years. They make hundreds of friends, and we have employees that dated, they're now married, they now have kids, and it's really neat.
You know, at your workplace it's your social circle.
Yeah.
Right? It happens everywhere, and you see it in the casinos as well too. But I didn't think about that. You really are embedding those memories for those youngsters that sometimes it's their first job. They'll never forget it.
I get some really nice emails that tell me, oh, hey, you were the best boss I've ever had, and I really like that.
Your energy is as contagious. I mean, every time we were around you, I tell my wife all the time, I was like, Shane is one of the coolest people you'll ever meet.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks.
So I'm glad you're there leading those youngsters and doing what you're doing. Give me a story. Give me a Cowabunga Bay story. Give me something that is unique that the community goes, I really liked that.
Okay, let's see. There's a lot of interesting stories, but it's usually interesting because it's crazy. So yeah, we've had a few crazy stories, and you know, we get unique and interesting guests that come in. One of the great things I really like to do is we have a great PR lady here in Vegas. Her name is Jennifer Bradley, and she's really well connected with a lot of the charities and stuff. And she does, I believe it's called the Jordan Ranch, and it's foster kids that are separated through the foster system. And then once a year, we bring them out to the park, and the siblings get to play with each other at the park for the entire day. I mean, sometimes they won't see each other for weeks or months, and then they get to come together. That's one of my favorite things we do.
I think I remember this. Didn't we come pick them up in a limo and take them out to the canyon?
Yes.
That was a very enjoyable partnership. That moved me.
It moved me too. I had a hard time going out there every time because I'd be just wiping my eyes seeing them play together.
Yeah, we got them in the limo together, and we took them out. We went to the canyon for that one. I remember dropping them off. I actually think I followed along. So let's talk about that a little bit. You have a PR person here that does a really good job. You also have a marketing company or a graphic design company that is second to none. So I don't know who you use for your graphics, but every time I get one of your newsletters, I send you an email back going, whoever you have doing your graphic design, keep them handy or keep them close to you because I will take them the moment I find out who they are.
Okay, I'm going to tell you who that is because I'm so proud. That is my son. My son Fisher does a lot of our graphic design. Now that was worth it just coming to hear that.
He is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I mean, when I open those, they bring me in to the email. I want to continue finding out what's happening. I scroll slower just so I can enjoy the path that he's taking you on. So he is doing phenomenal.
That's
His name's
awesome.
Fisher.
Fisher, yeah.
Fisher, I'm going to look at the camera. You have high value. You make sure Pop knows that.
He's a great kid too.
Yeah, I bet. All right. So is there anything that we haven't talked about that is happening or you'd like to talk about?
Oh gosh, I wish I could talk about some of the things we've got planned because I'm in the process of bringing a very exciting food brand back to Vegas. It's been missing in the market. We're so close to getting it done, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
We don't have to talk about anything we can't talk about. Let me ask you about bento bars. Have you ever had a bento bar?
No.
Okay, we had a bento bar. I think it was called West Coast Bento.
What is it?
And it was up in Oregon. And I remember we'd leave the hotel, we'd go down, and there was a guy that opened up. He'd open up in the morning. He'd cook just enough food till it was all gone, and then he'd leave for the day. And he did this every day, like 6 days a week, and he took Sundays off. And every time I flew to Oregon, I would go to it. And all he would do is he would cook rice and 2 or 3 types of meats and some vegetables. It was the same thing every day with just a little bit of seasoning. It was called West Coast Bento, and it was Oregon. You should look it up. One of my favorite things in the entire world is it was always healthy food. I could show up and have some brown or white rice and then choose a chicken joystick, and he barbecued it and did it every day the same exact way. I wonder if he's still open. But I think we need a West Coast Bento in town. So if you're playing in the food business, think about that.
I got to tell you about that. Every year we do surveys of our guests. What can we do to improve? We need more healthy food options. And so, gosh, every year we'll introduce a salad or a hummus plate or a wrap. Mm-hmm. And what do? Corn dogs, chicken strips, French fries, and pizza. And those salads just sit in the cooler. So I know we want to eat healthy, but when we come to a water park, boy, people just want to have fun and eat trash.
They just want to have a good time.
Not trash, but eat.
Yeah. No,
eat junk food.
Yeah, they do. They want the snacks and the goodies and the pretzels.
We sell millions of chicken strips. They love it.
How many millions of chicken strips do you sell at Cowabunga Bay a year?
Millions. Probably between both parks, 2 million.
Get out of here.
Well, let's see. We do about 500,000 people here, and people are getting 3 strips. And
I was going to ask you that. So you move through about 500,000 people a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Cowabunga Canyon had dropped really low in attendance, but it's now almost doubled. We brought it back.
And you have a really cost-effective program. I know we buy our kids park passes every year, but your park passes they're very cost-effective. Like what, 150
and the
bucks
great
or
thing
something?
is one season pass gets you into both parks now, and it includes parking, and you get a friend ticket, and so it is a good value when you compare it to going to like a Cirque show. I mean, where you only get an hour. I mean, you get all season long. It's usually our season lasts about 110 days, from mid-March to the end of September.
Right, and this year you're open till September 10th-ish?
We close. Cowabunga Canyon closes this Sunday, and then Cowabunga Bay is open till October 6th.
Okay, so it's the end of the year, and we're going into winter and Halloween, and the weather just changed, and it's not 120 degrees. Tell me, how was the 120 this year and the 121? I've never felt that heat before in this town.
It was brutal. And there gets to be a point where it gets too hot that people don't come anymore. So the hot, extreme heat really affects our business. We do best when it's about 103, but once it gets above 110, we start
dying off.
Yeah,
we did that at the lake as well. July, we saw a decrease in business at the lake because people just were not leaving their houses this year.
And you know what we did this year? We actually did an ice dump into the wave pool. We got about 10 wheelbarrows, filled them up with ice, dumped them in 3 different times to cool the water down. That's awesome.
Do you have any social media teams?
Yeah, we have a group out of Florida that does all our social media.
Okay. Do you ever do any PR stunts or anything at the water parks?
We do our events and the ice drop and the charity things, but never. We do a big Special Olympics event at the beginning of the year. They come in, but
Okay. Are you open to more creative, fun events?
I'm open to anything.
I like it. All right. So going into next year, when is a time that tickets, so going into next summer, when is the time that tickets start going on sale for the year? Or are you trying to sell them at the end of the year for next year too, like pre-selling?
We're selling them right now at the lowest price. You buy right now, you get the lowest price, and as it gets closer to the season, the prices go up.
The price will start to increase.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now is the best time.
The
So going
best
into the
time,
holiday
and,
season.
and the offer ends September 30th.
September
and then we do
30th.
a deal at Black Friday, and
Okay. All right. We'll make sure people look out for that.
yeah.
All right. Very nice. Listen, Shane, thank you for coming.
Yeah, it's been great to catch up with you.
Yeah. How many podcasts have you done?
This is my first one.
Stop it.
It is. Hopefully I get more action now because of you.
You're going to get all the action. Obviously, you're just easy to talk to. So again, I appreciate you coming on. I think that your two properties are a staple for Las Vegas as a city. I think it's a staple for Southern Nevada. I think people come from Pahrump and Mesquite, and I think they come from all around. Even Laughlin will come up for the water park because I hear it all the time.
Well, I want kids when they're adults now to say, "Oh, we grew up at Cowabunga Bay," just like I always hear, "I grew up at Wet and Wild." So that's really my goal here.
Absolutely. And I'm going to deem you like the ultimate mentor who's training 1,000 new teenagers or new and returning teenagers every year.
Yeah.
So you're getting that mentor hat on the way out the door.
I like it. Some of them turn out pretty good.
It's fantastic. All right, perfect. So I'll make sure that we promote getting those passes sold into the Christmas season. I think that's actually a good idea because it is super cost effective. And then on the mentor side, we'll continue to raise funds for that. And then on the lake side, we should do some sort of, we should get our PR people together and do something for the lake properties between the houseboats and the water parks. And I think they're similar audiences.
Okay. I'd love to come down and do a houseboat.
Okay. We can make that happen.
All right. Great.
All right. Perfect. All right, everybody. It's Vegas Podcast. I appreciate you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we will continue to bring you information from those who know Las Vegas best.